Hello and welcome to New Writer Podcast, episode number 9. With me again is Hector Elias, and tonight we are going to talk about book covers and book cover design, and he is going to show us some awesome work. So I'm glad to have you here. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be back. It's I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy to have you here too, and I think I'm not sure why I'm stuck on the screen here. I don't know if that's
You're fine to me.
okay. um, so Hector, you've done a few book designs or cover design, including you actually sent me a pretty awesome cover you had done for your short story for the Beyond the Gates anthology.
Yeah.
I am always wanting to learn more about design because I love playing with images, and you have seen some of my stuff that I've done, and I'm not exactly great at it, so educate us today. That's what we're hoping for.
Well, first of all, I'm not a professional designer. It's something I've done since I was a kid. I first got Photoshop, and I've used it for over, I don't know, 8 years, I guess. Just messing around, and um, well, I made different designs. I uploaded to DeviantArt in those times, and well, I really got into the cover designs, or I liked it very much because a fact is people judge a book by its cover. It doesn't matter what other people say. If a cover isn't appealing, people usually don't pick up that book. So it's really important, and I think many indie publishers um, don't really how I forgot the word invest on book cover designs. And for example, I don't think my work is exactly great, but I think it's good enough. And well, I'm actually really happy with some of the results I've had. And well, I think it's something really important that people should pay more attention to, especially with, like I said before, indie publishing, because traditional publishing, well, it's not a fact that they will make you a good cover, but it's very likely that it will be a really good cover. Like they have a team of professional designers to work on them. And as you said right now that you're interested in learning more, I would actually recommend you to search through lynda.com or udemy.com. They have I know lynda.com has great stuff. I haven't personally used it. I took a course in Udemy on cover designs, which I liked. I think it's great for people who have no experience on doing so. Well, unfortunately for me, most of the things they said or they had in the course, I knew already. Like I've done it for several projects. Well, more like not projects as in like I haven't like selling the covers, but more like me practicing. So sorry. Um, but I still think it's a good course. You can easily find it in Udemy, and well, if you have like you're pretty new to cover design, I think that's great. So I wanted to share with you. Uh, were you going to say something?
Yeah, as I say, another really good resource is Derek Murphy's blog, Creative Indie. He does a
Oh yes,
lot, and DIYcovers.com, I think, is where he specifically talks about do-it-yourself covers and
yes.
design aspects and things like that.
Oh yes, I've seen his work in I think Joanna Pan's blog, and actually he has like the covers he designs, or at least a template he has, is for designing on Microsoft Word, which is strange, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
I had never seen a phone design there.
I think his entire point though was teaching people not necessarily giving them the tools necessary to make really amazing covers, but giving them a starting point so they can start to understand like how a cover comes together and what elements it would need. And
Okay, yes.
yeah, I don't necessarily think, and I know he's developing a new tool that is more like a Photoshop or Canva
Oh,
specifically
really?
for cover design. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I would actually like to try it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing, like I said, it's pretty important. And during the, I think before November started, I was searching the forums of NaNoWriMo, and I found this website that it's actually the one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this, about the cover design. The website is called lousybookcovers.com, and daily they receive I don't know, like at least 3 or 4 book covers from indie published books, and it's really really sad. um, like I actually feel pretty bad about that. I read like the forum post was about a one of the writers on NaNoWriMo said that one of his friends who has a published book found his book cover in that website, and like it was pretty bad for him. Like he felt pretty bad, so like he understood that he had to actually do something about his covers.
Yeah, there are a lot of like Tumblrs and things like that too. And again, going
Yeah.
back to Derek Murphy, I can't remember the exact website address, but he's got a site that's like like the old Hot or Not websites from back in the early 2000s, where you can submit your book cover and people can decide how, like on a scale of 1 to 10, what they think of it.
Oh, I've seen that website. I don't remember the URL, but I've seen it actually. I didn't know it was about him. It was from him.
Yeah, I didn't know either until I heard him talking about it on Joanna Pinn's podcast, the last episode. So the one before the one that came out this week.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you actually have some covers that you've designed that you want to show off to us, and can you tell us a little bit, like give us a basic rundown of like what makes a good cover versus what makes kind of a like my covers have slowly gotten closer and closer to professional. I don't feel like I'm 100% there yet, although I really like the newest covers I have.
Oh yes, the ones of the 7 key series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like them pretty much. I, I saw the last ones, but I can't remember actually how they were. I just know that they did have an improvement, and I like them very much. Just in my opinion, and this is I think most of the things I'll talk about is my personal opinion, not a professional opinion. I didn't like the font very much. Other than that, I think the cover looks really great. I like what you did with the CD, the silhouettes, and the colors.
Well, thank you. I think all cover design conversations are purely there. There is some like trend statistics that you can follow, but I think cover design, like most art, is purely subjective.
Yeah.
And you can have a really bad cover, but what defines a really good cover, I think, is different for whoever's looking at it.
Oh yeah, and it also depends a lot on genre. These romance novels, I I personally don't like the covers. Uh, Most of them.
That's actually what was wrong with my covers before. Was I had this silhouette image that I really liked and wanted to use, so that's what my covers were. But I'm an urban fantasy writer, and I hate urban fantasy covers. Like, they come in two forms. they're either like a random drawing of a white guy doing something remotely related to the plot that won't make sense until the very last page of the book, or they are a woman holding a weapon with a lower back tattoo. Like there's nothing in between. So when I
Oh, yeah.
did the first cover for choices, I was actually part of an urban fantasy group on Goodreads, and they were having a conversation about what they hated about urban fantasy covers. And so I had made my cover so that it wouldn't, like, everything they hated, nothing was on there. But and a lot of people have told me they really liked them, but like they were very plain and they stood out as being not urban fantasy covers. So in the time since that has happened, I've noticed a lot of books coming out with silhouettes in urban fantasy, with the silhouette covers. Like a lot of authors have gone, screw that lower back tattoo stuff, I want to put a silhouette on the cover. And mine, because I wasn't that great at it, just looked cheap, I guess. They didn't look as professional as I would like them to. So that's why the new covers got done the way they got done.
Okay, no, actually, like I said, I like them pretty much. And yeah, that's another thing. Like it depends on the genre you write, and me personally, I think a cover shouldn't be defined by the genre, but it's kind of hard to start a new trend on the book covers because there's millions of people out there who are publishing books every day, and they continue with the last trend. So yeah, it kind of like stands out as not being the genre you're writing in. Um, Fortunately for us, I guess that online retailers they have them in the genre you specify. So that's maybe also be a a benefit to like designing the cover that's good for your book, not just for the genre. So um, yeah, it's. I'm sorry, I just looked through the lousybookcovers.com and like I don't like to like say my work is really good. I'm not those kind of people. It's really hard for me to
You're going to have to get better at self-promotion. That's part
I
of
know.
the package of being an indie.
Yeah, I know that definitely, but it's just that I don't know. I look at those covers and like some of them are clearly done in MS Paint, and or there's one that it's an incomplete drawing. So
I'll tell
I don't
you,
know.
there's a trend I see a lot of covers that were drawn with like colored pencils.
Oh yes,
And I'm like, I'm not sure who's doing these because all of the drawings look very, very much the same, but they're from a ton of different authors and a bunch of different genres. And I'm like, someone is telling these people that this is a good design.
yeah, and that's another thing with illustrated covers. I do like illustrated covers. I'm, but I'm more of a photo manipulation guy. Like, for example, here I have. Let me just.
And Hector is moving off camera for those of you who are listening to this as an audio feed. And I apologize because this is going to be a very visual episode.
Visual.
So
I cannot find the book I had right now. It's well, the Dream Engine. Uh, you've obviously seen the cover of the Dream Engine. The guy.
yeah,
I love that cover. I don't know. It's I like it. I liked it so much, and it's an illustrated book cover, like so professionally done.
and it's another book cover that really fits its genre. Like a lot of steampunk covers have that really high quality illustration of a
Yes.
face with the brassworks, the steamworks all behind it, and it really fits the genre and at the same time really fits the book.
Yes, it does, and I think it's one of my favorite book covers. Like eh, Yeah, I like a lot of book covers because, like I said, I'm a person who judges a book by its cover. I pick up a book if I like the cover, and then the content drags me in, right? So most of the books I have a really visual aspect to it, and the with the covers. Um, and it not necessarily has to be like complicated. For example, Gary Robinson's Nightblade, I like the cover, and it's pretty simple. And if you've seen the second Nightblade book, Mystic,
Mystic.
which it isn't out yet, dear God, the first time I saw the cover in one of the videos in the background, I was like, "That's an amazing cover." It's like it has the same pattern, which is it's a pretty simple book cover, but I like it. I like it very much. It's really appealing.
And see that's what I think the book cover can be is its own art form.
Yeah,
And I think we as publishers got lazy because if you look at book covers starting in like 1980 up until the indie revolution,
hmm
book covers kind of sucked.
yeah,
For like 30 years, book covers were just not good. And a lot of people go, well, a unprofessional book cover is the sign of an indie author. And I go, no, bad book covers have been around for a long time. And I think at this
yeah,
point, a really good book cover is just a sign of someone who knows that bad book covers are poisoning the literature market. And I don't think it's our fault. I think bad covers are just the norm generally. And that's why a really good book cover is even more important, is because it stands out.
oh yes, definitely. Um, yeah, it's yeah. I know people said that a bad book cover is sign of a indie published book, but then again, I said like for example, the Dream Engine. uh, it's an indie published book. It's, I don't know the cover. Like I recently found out who the designer was, and I searched through her DeviantArt, and well, that's the thing. Like, there's people out there who, like, if you want your cover to be illustrated, there's people out there who can do amazing things. And if you've seen the nuts and bolts videos, the guys from Sterling Stone are doing with Garrett Robinson, uh, that they do an estimate about the costs, they include the book cover because it's really important for the same reason I've been saying. It drags people. Um, if it's appealing, people tend to open the thumbnail. So yeah, it's something really important.
Yeah, I think I think the audience that is watching this is probably fully aware of where they can get tools to work with a professional designer and things like that. So we are actually at the 16-minute mark already, and I want to give you time to show us some of your work and some of what you wanted to show us. So let's hop into that before we get off on another tangent.
Okay, at first, um, I'll just. I'm not sure how to uh, change my camera view. Um, like to see my for the word my screen sharing. Okay, I found it.
I was gonna say it's the little green icon on the left-hand side of the toolbar.
So um, I cannot see. Did it appear on the screen or?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, yeah. Like this is a. I'll start off with two covers I made over I guess 4 years ago, more or less. And this is actually the like a mock-up title to a book I was writing. I dropped down that story and recently have taken it up, and it's actually the story I'm working on. I instead of making a novel, I'm making it a serial called Fallen Skies, and this is the first cover I made. Oh, another thing, most covers I've done have been in 25 minutes or less. Really quick, but I like how they turn out. Like I said, it's not a professional book cover, but it's a small, like I liked it. I would have published if I could that story with this cover before, like 4 years ago. Then I made this one, which is like a collection of short stories. Like I said, also this is 4 years ago work, but I actually liked pretty much how it ended up. And oh, I used a action pack in Photoshop called uh, I don't remember how it's called. I'll look it up right now. That
I will try to find the link to it. I think I know, and it's free, right?
Cover Action Pro. It's
Yeah.
called Cover Action Pro, and it renders the books, and I think it's something that looks really nice, like to show your project, like not just the plain image, like more of how it looks in as a book, which I think it's a really nice touch.
Now, see, on that book cover, on the ink drop cover,
Okay.
this is kind of for those of you who are listening to this, it's a very clean, like fountain pen over pages. I could see this being fully like on a professional like writing
Mhm.
book, like a nonfiction how-to writing, or a
Okay.
collection of poetry. I've actually seen similar covers, like especially in the late '90s. I think even like Jewel's collection of poetry had a cover similar to that. Um, so this is actually very professional in my opinion. Again, I'm
Thank
not
you.
a design professional, but I've seen this would look on a bookshelf next to other top five, big five publishers' books. So
Oh, thank you. That's really really nice for me to say. Mm. Okay, so next, this is another like mock-up I made for a story. Actually, this is for my NaNoWriMo story, which unfortunately I wasn't able to finish, but that's another topic. And here I used an image of I can't remember her name. She's an actress, the girl from Little Miss Sunshine, now fully grown up, and it's like it's a really simple. I like making simple covers, and here it has the name, the title, novel, the subtitle of the novel, my name, and here on the sides just plain old black. Um,
yeah, and this is just like a really simple headshot photo with like a color filter on it, right?
yeah, that like I didn't get the color correction right in this one. I actually made a second one that was more like this, like another. Um,
See, but what I think really like because it's a really simple like the photo manipulation is simple, but what makes the book cover stand out is actually like you were saying with my cover is the font selection.
okay.
The font and the title, the placement for the text. I think that is another thing that most people who are going into covers forget is super important. Maybe the most important part.
Yeah, the font is really important. I'll actually get into that in a moment with another cover. Um, let me see. I'm not sure which one's next. Like so. Okay, this is um, it was a joke from a group of friends, and like he's my best friend, and I uh, I was just bored one day, but I really liked how it turned out, like a self-motivational book cover. I think, like like I said, it was a joke at first, but when I published it in a Facebook group we have, um, everybody just loved the cover. Like it's fun and I don't know, I liked it a lot how it turned out. So that's why I added it here. Mm.
Again, it's really a very simple design that just keeps it
Yeah,
clean and I think overly complicated is something that a lot of covers could be described with and just this looks like a cover you could buy at a bookstore, probably in the less popular self-help books, but it is
Yeah.
a just simple, clean design. I like it.
Yeah, I actually liked it, and perhaps many people wouldn't agree with me that it's just like placing a picture and just adding things over it. But I think that sometimes, yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated. Just a picture, like you've heard the saying, a picture talks 1,000 words, right?
Yeah.
So I just have the picture and make minor modifications and then add text, and I think it looks great. It's like I said, it's a fun cover. Like it was a joke, so yeah. But I did like how it turned out. Then oh, this was submitted to a contest in 99 Designs. Uh, at the end, the contest was canceled because I think the person who was making the contest didn't explain himself very well with the information. So I dropped out the contest, but I really liked how it turned out. I think I mentioned in my last time here, I mentioned something about the book covers, and I mentioned a bit about this one. I didn't show it, but I really, really liked how this one turned out, and would be happy to like I don't know give it out so people could use it. It's once again it's a very simple design with just a picture and text, but I think like the text placement and the font it's what could really drag people to it. I don't know what are your thoughts about it.
I'm thinking like one thing that I'm really happy and if you're listening to this episode as a podcast, you should stop listening to it and then jump over to YouTube and watch the
Yeah.
video or go to newwriterpodcast.com/009 to watch the video because one thing that I'm noticing here and what I think would be the big takeaway from this conversation so far is that the simplicity. I mean, there's a lot more to it. Obviously, you have to choose the right picture and the right fonts and know how to work things together, color patterns and stuff like that. But a lot of the times when I see a really, really bad cover, it's because people have tried to put too much on top of it, and you can do a lot with a very little. As
hmm
I think is the takeaway that we should be going for here.
Yes, definitely. And these images I've used, or at least most of them, are um, copyright-free images, like public free stock photos online. There's so many websites that upload their pictures that are free for use, and that's how I make some of the covers. And it's or I use DeviantArt and I search through stock pictures, and I just read their copyright information if I can use them, if I can't. And even though just one of these I published, sorry, yeah, I've only published one of these. I still look for those specific like images, because if I like how the end design, um, if I like the end design, I would like to use it sometime. So it's just a bit of searching. Online, you can find hundreds of stock photos that are available for free, even if you don't want to pay um, some website. Because I personally, even though I would like to, I'm not sure how to pay for stock photos, because it's like some websites say um, $2 for this for per picture, and then I log into the website, I find a picture I like, and when I want to purchase they have like monthly fees or yearly fees, and I haven't gotten so into it to actually find out how it works. But like I said, there's hundreds upon hundreds of free pictures for you to use.
And I think one thing that people should be aware of is Creative Commons photography and things like
Uh,
that. Like, I know a lot of the stock, like my books have silhouettes on the covers, so I use those are all actually um, stock photos from model poses on DeviantArt, where like they're and their things will say things like if you are just doing a photo manipulation,
yeah.
then you need to attribute like a link to them. But if you're just using the stock pose for drawing over, which is what I did, not drawing, not tracing, but I like actually used the pose and drew out my image for the new covers.
Hmm.
Then you don't need to. I still think I probably am gonna do something on my blog that will link to those people because they're great
Okay.
resources.
Yes.
But Creative Commons, a lot of it will just be like you can put in like in the back of your book an acknowledgement saying, you know, these people contributed to this or whatever, and a lot of them will be that's their terms. So it even goes beyond just not you don't have to work with just public domain
Hmm.
photography. You can look at attribution. Just make sure that when you're using that there it's marked with for commercial use with
Yeah.
attribution or
Yes, that's actually something I'll show with my last picture. Uh, I have two more, I think. And okay, let's go on because I do want to mention that as well. So this I actually made a cover design for Beyond the Gate, and mine wasn't chosen, but it's fine because at the moment I saw the actual cover, like when it was uploaded, I knew instantly that was gonna the cover we were going with, and I like it really much. I really like that cover. But even so, I made this design. Actually, this is the one of the longest covers I've taken like to make because everything except the font and the image, the background image, I made it. Like I made the hinges, I made the corner pieces here, the lock thing, and, and so everything it's like done by me, so that's why I like it a lot. And I took like a journal approach to the cover, and I like adding details, like not very noticeable, like over here in the bottom. Here I have the name for every writer in the anthology. So it's just a minor detail, but I like adding them. Like it's not something you would get right at the moment, but it's still there. And this is one of the most complex covers I've done, but I really liked the outcome. Yes, it wasn't chosen, but I'm still pretty proud of how it turned out.
and I'm not I really like the cover of the Beyond the Gates anthology that you guys went with.
Yeah,
But I
me
could
too.
see this to me, and maybe it's just my background as a gamer, but this to me like looks like the cover of a tabletop RPG.
It would be great to have this as a cover for a tabletop RPG. I really like them, so it would be something amazing if I
So
would.
what that tells me is we need to create a engine world RPG.
Oh, that would be so amazing! Like seriously. Oh, that should be a thing. Really.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. I am not the game designer half of Eldrin. That would be my brother, but I'll talk. I'll say, I will next time I talk to him. I'll bring him up. See what would it would take to create a tabletop RPG.
Uh, it would be great, really. Like I, for one, I'm a gamer as well. Uh, I've I've never was really into tabletop games until very recently. Like for example, I think it was last year or 2 years ago that I bought. Well, I gifted myself for Christmas two of the Dungeons and Dragons table crawling games, like dungeon crawl games. And They have the dungeon. Every time you play, the dungeon is different. Like I'm not sure if I'm making
Uh,
myself clear.
Castle Ravenloft is one of them.
Yeah, actually, Castle Ravenloft is the one I don't have. That one and the Legend of Drift. I have the one of Fashardalon, the dragon,
Mhm.
and
Those are gateway drugs, is what those are.
yeah, I know. Oh no, yes, I mean Castle Ravenloft is the only one I don't have. I have the Legend of Drift and the Ashardalon,
See,
and it's it's really amazing. I really like those games. Like I've never played it very much, but I love them.
well, did you happen to catch the episode, the last episode of this show, where I was talking to EW Pierce, and we basically just broke down into talking about tabletop RPGs for the last half hour of the
I
show?
haven't, and I will. Look it up. Like I haven't seen it, and I actually it would be amazing. I know Eric is it's a true gamer. He loves games and everything. Seriously, it would be amazing to have a dream, an engine world RPG game or something like a game based on because it's such an amazing story. Like I personally, um, Dream Engine is one of my favorite books. Like I love it. I love the the story, the characters, everything. So I'm really happy to be part of the anthology, Beyond the Gate. Um, and it would be amazing to have like a game to it. Like it would be something incredible actually. And
Well, I'm going to add to my giant pile of ideas. I'm gonna make a note, um, and I will send out an email to some people and see what we can do. Why don't you go ahead and show us the last cover design?
okay,
We're at 35 minutes, so.
okay. So this is for my story from Beyond the Gate, which is called The Short Adventure of Beatrix Wayland. And I really liked how it turned out. It's it's simple, I guess. I just a stock image I found in DeviantArt, and yes, I read the Creative Commons information, like if I can use it or not, and I worked with that. And it's like you said, it's important to take like the careful precautions with those things because you don't want to publish your book and then have to take down the cover because of rights or something like that. So, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, another thing, like, I use a lot of stock photography from several sites like Deposit Photo and iStock Photography, and they'll have different levels of rights.
Oh yes.
So, like, the image I was using on the original cover for Choices, I had purchased the rights that let me use it for a book cover,
Okay.
but those rights do not let you use it for anything like a poster or T-shirt or print or anything. You know, you can have it on a print book, but nothing else print-wise. And it's
Okay.
really important to know those things too, because I can't do posters because I don't own the those rights to that picture. So
Yeah, that's something you have to really look into when you're using stock photography, and but still, it's something. It doesn't require much work to do, and and if it can help you to get your best cover on, then it's in my opinion, it's time well invested to figure out all those Creative Commons things and the level they're at. Mm. And like I said, it's a simple cover. Um, I just well, I think it looks more complicated than other covers, but that's because of background, which I'll get into. Like the most important thing, it's the person, like yeah, the person her image, then the text, which I went with a text I found in dafont.com,
I
and
love defon.com.
me too. And I used the text. I didn't mix up text or fonts in the cover, but sometimes it looks better if sometimes like I think that if the your name is in a different font from your title, but I liked how it blends everything in. And the background, it's actually just a simple gray background layer, and I just used a uh, different brushes, like steampunky brushes I had since I don't know when, and I just stamped all the background, and I like how it turned out, how it looks, and yeah, I'm actually I really really do like the the cover. And actually, the model doesn't have this pendant. This pendant is another image I found, and I made the I forget what's the name, the chain around it, and tried to blend it in with the person.
I this is I the background is what makes it work for the steampunk engine world feel.
Hmm.
If you switch that background out with like a foggy moor with all green trees and or like a big lake, you change that same image into like a Regency romance cover.
Yeah.
Um, and it would be like again, it's another example of something that would be sitting right there on the bookshelf at Barnes and Noble. So,
Yeah.
and this what I'm impressed with, and this is where it becomes something that isn't easy to do, is in the stock photo of your model, you have managed to the wisps of hair. For those of you who are not there, the hair is non-solid. It's got wisped hair on one side, which is really, really, really hard to cut out of the background
Ah, I
with.
know. And actually, and I'll share this with you, with your audience. This piece, let me zoom in. It's not really it's not perfectly cut, but it's the best I could do without making the hair look weird. And it's um, I this piece, these strands of hair were my bane of my existence while making this cover. But I think the end result, if it doesn't pop up so much.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I've looked at that image a dozen times in the last day or so, and I had never noticed that. And so, but that's that one when it sticks out, when that imperfect edging is there. It's one of those things that really sticks out, and so.
Oh yeah, it's so hard, and that's actually the that was actually the hardest thing of everything of the designing this cover. Like I I had to with a really small eraser be um, going through these strands of hair, and it's that was the hardest part of it. And like people don't usually notice that, but I wanted to make the most perfect cover I could for the project because I got really into all the Beyond the Gate, the anthology, and I liked my story very much, and I wanted to make a great cover for it. The moment I saw this picture of the model, I was, that's it, that's perfect. That's the perfect model. Uh, and I wanted to use it so bad. I was like, I don't mind working over all these hairs.
I think that's something that's why you need a good cover for your book. Because you can sell books with a crappy cover. You won't sell as many as you would if you had a good book cover, but you can. There are lots of books out there that are really bestseller books that have horrible covers.
Hmm.
But your book deserves the best possible cover you can give it, and that
Yes,
is
definitely. It like it's your book. You've already poured so many hours of writing, you've invested so much time in everything. Like you've done, you've brought your book to life, and it deserves to be seen. Like and that's the thing with covers. People pick up a book if they like the cover. So it would be really sad to invest all those times, all that energy into your book, into writing, and perhaps you have the best book in the world. But if you don't have a good cover, people won't pick it up, and that's sad. Actually, that's pretty sad because, like, I'm all into self-publishing and people writing. Like, it's really great to know people can become book authors, like published authors, and it makes me sad to think that they do not invest so much on the cover as they do into their book, and it's possible that that book will be lost in a sea and ocean of other books. And yeah, that's why I think book cover design is something really important.
Yeah, a good cover can't rescue a bad book, but a bad cover can sink a good book.
Oh wow, that was perfectly phrased. Uh, and with this image, this book cover, I want to point out what you said before, that you don't require much to do something great. Like I said, I have the stock of the model and the pendant, and yes, I said that the hair was the most complicated part of it, but other than that, it's pretty simple. It's just two images. The fog I made here, if it isn't very clear, I made it with Photoshop filter. I have a filter called Clouds, so it was pretty simple. And like I said, the background, which I think it has one of the greatest takes. Like, it's it's a plain gray background with just I clicked so many times over the background with a brush, and that's it. That's all the went into the background, and it looks really great. Like it's a background that like you said, that defines it to the genre. If I would change the background, I would make it would be like another genre book, and it's just a brush with I mean, sorry, it's just a gray background with a brush. It's not much.
And again, there are literally thousands of brushes available on DeviantArt with like a lot of them are completely like no attribution, commercial use allowed. Again, with brushes is another thing that you have to be really careful with that on. A
Hmm.
lot of brush designers will charge for their brushes for commercial use and give them away for private use for free. But that's just basically when you're doing working with art, unless you have created it completely from scratch, just make sure you know you've got the rights and that you're doing things by the book because you don't want anyone stealing your work. So you know, but
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who just again you can put a note in your book saying elements of the cover design come from, and then just list those places and
Hmm.
get those people like. I think as artists we need to help each other out, like bring each other up anyway.
Yeah.
So that's we are over 45 minutes now.
Yeah.
So on that note, I want to just say this: thank you for sharing your cover work with us and showing us how you can do a lot with a very little.
Oh,
um,
Matt, could I show an image quickly? Just
sure.
another image. This was actually um, well, before I show it, it's just I wanted to make this for a cover for my Fallen Skies serial, and I actually illustrated everything of it. And I'm not an illustrator. I really liked how it turned out. I'm not using it as a cover, but perhaps like a concept art, which is this. And like I said, I'm not an illustrator, but I poured so much into it, and I liked the end result. And it's I think it's just that. Actually, I had something to say about this, but I can't remember. But, yeah, that's like, just showing that you can try things out. Like this is actually took around 7 or 8 hours doing all of this, and which is a lot in my compared to my covers I've taken like 25 minutes, 30 minutes to do, and well. I just wanted to try out something, and I really liked how it turned out, especially here, this building. Like, let me zoom in. I don't know. It was just me doing something over and over again, and I liked the end result, and I kept on doing it, kept on trying until I liked it. And also, if you like to draw or something, give it a try. Perhaps it won't be the end result that you want, or it won't be a cover you would use, but you have it there. You can show it as concept art or something, and it's like really fun thing to do. Like working on your covers, it's really fun. But yeah, you do require practice. You do require some learning to do. That's why I recommended at first the Udemy courses or lynda.com, and just try it. But do keep in mind that, like for example, I really like the end design for this, but it's not a cover I would use because I think I can make a more professional looking cover with photo manipulation. And and we as artists usually um, we tend to get really attached to our work. So that's the thing. If you're trying to you make a cover, you need to make a good judgment call if you're going to use it or not. Like you may like the end result, but ask yourself if it would really work as a cover.
It's the same thing that comes down to you don't just write your manuscript and put it out there into the world. You
Yes.
know,
Oh yes,
you know,
exactly.
so it's okay to suck as long as you keep getting better and moving forward before you start relying on people to give you money for it. So
Yes. Yes, because it's something people are paying for. Uh,
yeah.
they're paying to have your book, and the cover is part of your book. So yeah, people are paying for it,
and
and it's try your best, actually.
yeah, and we mentioned making sure you had the right licenses because a cover isn't just a book cover. It's posters. It's postcards. You could
Bookmarks,
you could
everything.
become a multi-billion-dollar seller, and it could be a stamp 20 years from now. It's a bigger piece of your franchise than just this one little thing. So. Well,
Yeah.
Hector, thank you very much for being on. Where can they find you?
Oh, you can find me through uh, just any kind of social media. I'm mostly my whole name, like Hector Manuel Elias Oliver. Um, uh, if you want to get in contact with me, it would be through my website. I think it's the easiest, which is the same, HectorManuelEliasOliver.com. It's a long one, but I don't know, it's pretty long, my name, but it's my brand. I like it. I like to use it as my brand because I love my name. So yeah, through there it'd be the easiest, I guess. Or through Facebook, you can search for me the same way, and you'll find me.
Um, and are you? I know if people have questions about doing cover design or want to hire you to do cover design, can they get in touch with you or?
Oh yes, of course. Uh, I'll be so glad to help you out with any questions or help you with the cover design. Would be so amazing, actually. Yes, I'm really open to interacting with people, like in just any social media website I use. I I if I receive a message, I always answer. And I think it's um, like I don't know, social interaction is something I really like. So
But that
Yeah,
is
go
a
ahead.
whole nother episode right there.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to get in contact with me, you're more than welcome, and I would love to get back in touch.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on.
No, thank you for having me again.
Thanks everybody at home for watching or listening. Please subscribe to the channel on YouTube and then flip over to iTunes and subscribe to the podcast feed so you can get us twice. And leave us a review, whatever you want to say. Awesomest show ever is okay. Give these guys all the money is good. Check out the
all the
Beyond.
money.
Yeah, check out the Beyond the Gate anthology. It's available everywhere, basically, and you will enjoy it. I've read the first story so far. That's all the farther I've made it.
If Matt, may I make a little self plug here?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Okay, if you're watching or listening, my story, the short adventure of Beatrix Wayland, is in the Beyond the Gate anthology, but you can also find it for free if you go to my website, hectormanuel.com/bwayland dot sorry, I messed up. /bwayland. You will find the links to getting the book for free, and as well with the links to finding Beyond the Gate, like the in that landing page, you will find links to have Beyond the Gate as well, which it's 23 books, free stories. So why wouldn't you get it?
Yeah, and they're good. I wish I had more time to jump in and read them because I really am enjoying it. And the Engine World, and of course check out Dream Engine, which is not free, but worth.
It's an amazing book. I vouch for it.
I was not upset to have paid substantially more for it as part of the Fiction Unboxed, and
No, me neither. I think it was worth every penny. Yeah, the whole project and the book. The book, it's like I said during the episode, it's one of my favorite books ever. So yeah, you should read it.
So again, Hector, thank you for being on. Hector Oliver, Hector Emmanuel. I'm sorry, Hector Manuel Oliver, EliasOliver.com. I will put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for being on. I'm sorry I butchered your name.
It's meant to happen. It's like I'm using my whole name, so it's meant to happen. Yeah. No worries.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Everybody have a good night, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.